A lot of times as gardeners we feel limited when we're looking for a evergreen ground cover, but we have one we want to share with you today. This is Pacria O Bravada. It is actually not only evergreen, but it also is a native, and it has lovely bright yellow flowers that really highlight a shady area. It is in the Asteraceae family, so it puts these clusters of daisy-like flowers up. You want to make sure that you plant it in an area where it gets part shade. It can handle full sun as well, but it makes a nice ground cover. You want to make sure that it stays moist. It likes consistent moisture, and a space that will allow it to naturalize. You can see it's tucked in really nicely around our rocks here. It can be a little aggressive. It has stolons that will allow it to spread, and also it gets these tufts of white seeds that will float in the wind. And so you want to make sure that if you don't want it to spread, you can come through and deadhead it pretty easily after it blooms. Pacria O Bravada is also known as Senecio O Vadis. A lot of times you'll see it listed as either or. The common name is Groundsel, and it's a great plant to add for a shade ground cover. You might have seen this other native Pacria growing along the roadsides. This one again looks similar to our shade-loving Pacria, but this is actually Pacria platensis. Also, it used to be recognized as Senecio platensis, and while it might look similar, there are some actual variations, and you can see that it has more cobweb-like hairs on this plant. The leaves are also more elliptical versus the oval-shaped leaves of the other one. And this one actually prefers very little water. It grows along roadsides in rocky, sandy conditions. So this common name of this one is Prairie Ragwort, and while these are both now classified as a genus of Pacria, they used to be classified as Senecio, and a lot of times you will still see them listed with the genus Senecio. Now you might be familiar with another Senecio, and that's Senecio cineraria, which is the Latin name for dusty miller. And there are some similarities to it. If you look at the lobed leaf of this, you can see that it has a similar leaf to dusty miller, as well as the hairs that are on here. Of course, dusty miller has a lot more, but the flowers are very similar too. Now, all three of these are cool season crops, which is why we use dusty miller a lot of times in the fall and early spring. But of course, dusty miller is not quite as tolerant here as these natives are.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.